Evening, folks, and welcome inside the Greenford Energy Center for Game 2 of this Nova Scotia U16 AAA Hockey League Provincial Play-In Series. The Voyagers lead the best of 3 by 1-0. They won on Monday in Coal Harbour. To get to this point, they have a chance to send themselves to number 2 for the Provincial Championship Series. Well, the Armada looking to extend their season at home and live to see another day. Game 3 would be tomorrow, 11:45 in this very rink. Max Reed will get his second straight start of the playoffs for the Voyagers. Number 31 was excellent in Game 1. There will be a new goaltender, Austin Picker, number 30, for the Basin Armada, looking to keep his hopes alive for a provincial championship run. We are underway live from the Greenford Energy Center for game number 2. It is electric here in this building. Super excited to give you the coverage of this one. Here's an early chance as Osman just misses the net there. As Osman let that go up top for Morrison. Morrison's shot was blocked. Rebound comes loose. Here comes DeBay. DeBay has Cowan on the back check. That's going to be sifted on net from the neutral zone. And Reed will get the glove on that one as Aaron comes in to give his presence felt. The Voyagers netminder. 25 seconds have gone here in game number 2. Face-off will be to the blocker side of Max Reed. DeMille in for the face-off. That's going to be one back. Here's a shot from distance. Thompson, that's going to deflect on goal off the stick of Hakala, and that will be stopped by Max Reed once again, up to 2 shots already. Exactly 30 seconds into game 2. Final score of game 1 was 4-3 on Monday over in Coal Harbour. Reed LaRue opened the scoring. A new addition to the Voyagers. He started the year with the Kings Edgehill Highlanders over in the Prep Hockey League, as he's now made his way over to the V's to finish off the year and trying to bring a provincial title over to the Dartmouth and surrounding area. Here's Fougier. Zach Fougier led the Armada in scoring in the regular season. His centering pass will go off his stick. Fougier scored in game 1 on the power play. That's going to be cleared down the ice, as that will be picked up by Thompson in his own zone over to Lyndon Todd. Todd and Thompson have been deep partners for basically the whole season. Here comes Hakala off the stretch pass. Has O'Leary streaking towards the net. Hakala towards the goal. Rebound, Sarah Fougier off the side of the net. As Reed might have gotten a piece of that one. That one stays out. Here's Pinau's shot will be stopped by the stick of Olmstead. Olmstead did not play in game 1 as he takes a hit there. Olmstead hurt his shoulder in the last practice of the season before playoffs, and he was no-go in game 1, but he's ready to go here for the second game of the series. He is a Bedford native. He got cut from the Armada last year, and he's found a home here in Dartmouth. Here's Ayotte up for Conroy Snow. Snow will chip it in the zone. They play to the opposite corner. Ayotte pinching through, will keep it alive. Here's Ross. That's going to be poked off of his stick. Comes free for Jaden Hall. He'll pick up on his backhand. Hall will weave his way to the other side. His shot will go off his stick, and that will go out of play. Drop the puck inside the Armada zone. Quickly one ahead. That's going to be outside the line. So I fix my camera or my score clock here. Apologies, folks. We're this late in the year and we're still making mistakes up here in the booth. Hopefully that'll be my last one. We'll drop the puck just outside the Armada zone on the far side in front of a rowdy Armada crowd by the glass. Jaden Hall will get the puck and chip it in the zone. DD pass. Here's Todd. Todd up through center looking for the stick of Mason All, and that will get past him, and that will be icing. So drop the puck all the way back in the Armada zone. The count line with LaRue and Osmond will head out there for the Zoe zone draw. Carew and Morrison out there on D. Face off at the close side of Pickram. 4 shots as opposed to the 0 for the V's for the Armada. Armada have the 4. It's going to be play to center ice. Osmond takes ahead as he makes the play up into the zone. That will bounce out of the Armada end. The V's are offside, forced to tag up. Here's Todd. So play it over to Pino. Pino up for Sebi Surratt. Surratt will play it off the glass, and that will not be on the right side of the red, so, or no, that's going to be no icing. Here's Carew. Carew will weave his way through the zone, chipped off the boards, puck is loose, back to retrieve it is Makinen. Makinen can't get by Osmond on the forecheck, it's going to come free up top for LaRue. Here's LaRue, shot will go through the screen, rebound, is that one just deflected wide. Here's Makinen. Makinen will go off the glass, kept in by Kaharski with the glove. Here's LaRue. LaRue trying to make his way through the slot, picked off by Makinen. Here's Luke Naiman up for Lucas Van Polgis. Here come the Armada. Skate to stick goes LVP, Lucas Van Polgis. It's going to be played in deep. Here's Ben Creighton. Creighton gets hit in the wall by Kaharski. Battle ensues in the corner. 2-on-1. Here's Maidment up to the line as that will not get up to Makinen. Picked off by Braden Cound. Here goes number 13 for the V's. Count will enter the zone, makes a few moves, and eventually will shoot it off the wall. Puck is bounced off the M wall, comes free. Here's McNeil. McNeil across the ice finds a skate of Creighton. He'll go skate to stick and then dump it into the zone off his backhand. Here's Ayotte off the turnover. Henry Ayotte gets the line, enters the zone, still has the puck. Ayotte looking to go all the way. Poke check, rebound, sent wide. Good stick there from the goaltender Pickram to prevent a possible scoring chance. Here's Creighton. Creighton will go high off the glass. That will bounce its way off the body of Van Polgis. Comes free for Brady. Here's Jack Brady. He'll fall over the blue line as Jaden Hall will collect the puck. Hall will try and get by the forecheck of Brady. Plays it back for Olmstead. Here comes Zach Olmstead with the puck in his own corner. Up for Saulnier. Saulnier scored the game-winning goal in game number 1 on the breakaway 5-hole. Here's Pinow. Pinow up the wall looking for DeBay. DeBay finds in front of his own bench. Finds Jack Brady who takes a hit from Hall. Puck comes free. Here's Ivan Aaron. Aaron makes a nice move as that will come free in front of the net. That's going to be fought off. Rebounds off the shoulder of Reed. That will bounce its way to the opposite wall as Uvari gets tangled up with Brady. Puck comes free. Olmstead will clear as he takes a hit from Aaron. There's Pinow. As he'll get the red line, send it in deep. Olmstead back to retrieve the puck. Olmstead will go backing out the boards, looking for the mill. That will come free. It's played up top. There's a shot from Bungay. Tipped. Rebound comes loose as that did not end up on net. Here comes Hall the other way. Hall up for Conroy Snow. He'll try and make a move in the center of the ice as he'll make the play inside the zone. He takes the hit to make that play. Here comes Ivan Aaron. Aaron gets by Ross. Puck comes free. It's going to be played up ahead by Fougere. Fougere will walk it in. Fan on the shot. Comes free for Osmond. Back from Fougere. Blocked. Here's Snow. Conroy Snow will take a hit. And his own end. Chance either way. Carew on the forecheck. Todd takes a hit from Carew. There's a big collision down low. Puck comes free. Here is Pinow. Pinow will try and work it off the wall. As that's going to be sent through center. McDonald will spin and fire it in deep. Thompson back to retrieve it. Charlie Thompson can't make the play as Ross gets a piece of it on the forecheck. Comes free in the corner. That will bounce on the stick. Chance here for the Armada. Here comes O'Leary with Hakala. O'Leary will take it wide. Shot will go off the body of Reed. Rebound cleared away. Here's McDonald up for Kane Osmond. He has the puck. 1-on-2. Osmond will drag. Makes a move. Osmond can't finish it off as he almost pulled off the toe drag backhand, but it was defended well into the corner. Here's Makinen up for Hakala. Here's Joel Hakala with O'Leary and Fougere. Hakala will play it towards the goal. It's going to deflect wide up the stick of Morrison. Here's Keegan Morrison looking for McDonald, but he was not ready for that pass. It's going to be sent back in deep by the Armada. Here's Ayotte. Ayotte up the wall for Muse. Here comes Henry Muse. Will put the brakes on and make a play up ahead. Here comes McDonald with Morris. McDonald 2-on-1 with Morris. Pass across. Just goes through the stick of Morris. It's going to be sent in deep. Here's Makinen. Cooper Makinen will stretch a pass over. That's going to be off the wall, and that will make its way off the body of Reed. Or no, that's going to be an icing call. That did not touch Max Reed on the way down, so icing against the Armada. Count out there with Osmond and LaRue. This has been the top line for the Vs throughout the playoffs. Well, the one game so far. They've been relied upon for offenses. That's going to bounce off the end wall, and that's going to be covered up by Pregame, and that will be a whistle. There you go. There's a penalty in front of the net. LaRue gets in the grill of McNeil, and it'll be a Vs power play. Head contact. Roughing's the call after the whistle. It'll go against Makinen. I thought it was McNeil, but it was number 77 who takes the penalty. Here comes the Vs power play. Hall, Osmond, Ross, LaRue, and Count. Puck is dropped. One back. Here is Kane Osmond, the blue line. Osmond down for Ross. Up for LaRue. Has a shot on. Picker makes a save as LaRue had a step to the net there. Got the great feed from Ross. And that's the first registered shot for Austin Pickram, the netminder. Matt Donnelly, the head coach, directing traffic from the bench. Puck is dropped. One back, Osmond. That's going to be intercepted by Chisholm. Now will be cleared down the ice. Here's Hall. Jaden Hall with the puck behind the net as Chisholm's all over him on the forecheck. Hall plays it over to Kane Osmond. Here comes Osmond with the puck. The Steel Subaru affiliate player will take it wide on the far side. Osmond towards the goal, has it on his backhand, will avoid the check. Plays it in the corner for Ross. Back up top, but nobody was home, and that will be cleared down the ice. Once again by the Armada, doing a great job in the penalty kill so far. 40 seconds have gone on the power play. Reed baits out Surratt with a nice play. Up for Osmond. Off the pass from Count. That's going to be offside. No, Surratt just able to stay on side as he'll wheel it all the way back inside his own zone, trying to kill off some clock here on the player disadvantage for the Armada. Here's Surratt using his wheels through center. Has the puck short-handed. Surratt will take it wide. Surratt still has it. Shot will go past the net and end up on the stick of Lyndon Todd. Todd over to Thompson. Thompson will fire it down the ice. Puck is going to bounce off the skate of Hall. Here's Carew with it now. Jonah Carew, the captain, playing his second year for the Vs. As that will be turned over and sent down the ice. Ayotte back to retrieve it with 40 seconds to go in the power play. Ayotte will spin past Van Polgeest. Up for Saulnier. Here's Saulnier. Will saucer it up for Carew. That will bounce over his stick as Carew gets it back as he plays it off the wall. Here's Thompson trying to get by DeMille on the forecheck. It's going to be rimmed around the boards. Ayotte have a chance to keep it in. That will be kept at the line by the skate as eventually it's poked out of the zone. Here's Auld. Also got stripped of the puck by Ayotte. 15 seconds to go in the power play. Here's DeMille. DeMille pass in front. Here's a chance. Saulnier sends it over the net. Hits the glass. Still 0-0. Great chance to the Vs at the end of the power play. Here is Uvari up for DeMille. DeMille's shot will go well wide of the net, and that's going to do it for the power play. Back to 5 apiece. Here's Carew. Jonah Carew down low. It's going to make its way to the opposite corner. Comes free on the wall. Play down low. Here is Thompson. Thompson will stretch a pass down the ice. Azirin looking to get the bounce. Here's Ayotte looking for it as he'll find it in neutral ice. Up for Uvari. That'll bounce off of his stick. Come in Thompson looking for the loose puck down low. Here's Thompson up the wall. As he'll clear it down the ice. Hilliard off the bench will collect it in his own zone. Here's Kaz Hilliard, K-A-Z. He'll has the puck. He'll set it down off the sticks. So there'll be no icing. As Snow's net guard falls off, so he'll be forced to retreat back to the bench. We all know that you got to have a net guard to play in this league, as we found it out the hard way on the Armada side in Game 1. There's a chance in front. Count almost jammed that one through. It's going to be picked up. Here come the Armada. P now up for Luke Maidman. Maidman has a step to the net. Maidman shot pass across as he fooled me up here in the booth. Creighton looking for that backdoor feed. That'll be off to his stick and in the corner. Comes free on the wall. Here is Maidman trying to get by Cowan. Does. Maidman slows the puck. Shot from Creighton. Rebound off the pad and wide. Here's Cowan with a chance to clear. Back for Olmstead. Zach Olmstead looking for an option. He'll backhand off the wall as he's met there by 2 Armada jerseys. Makes the play up for Ross over to Cowan. Here comes Braden Cowan. Look at the red line and send it in deep. Cowan getting lots of minutes halfway through this first period. As we are now officially past the halfway mark. 10 minutes have come and gone. Still no score. This can be sent back inside the Armada zone. There's Creighton, loses the puck. Morris finds it. Ryan Morris up for Muse. Muse trying to work that through the defenders. That's going to bounce away from him. Cleared to the line, but kept in by Saulnier. That's going to be nullified. No hand pass. Here's Morris. That's going to be offside, which will stop play. .9:33 to go. Shots are registered at 7-1, but the V's have missed a few nets up and high, so they've been scoring chances on both sides. Tabay will take the face-off just outside the V zone against Ryan Morris. Puck is dropped. One back. Here is Hall. Hall up the wall for Saulnier. Saulnier looking for Muse to the middle of the ice. That's going to be picked up by Mackinnon. Mackinnon up ahead for Brady. Picked up by Hall. Hall will go up the wall for Morris. Morris can't handle the puck. DD pass finds Mackinnon. That will go through his legs. Mackinnon trying to clear. That will go up and high. Glove down by Brady. There's Jack Brady up for Ivan Aaron. Armada might have numbers. Aaron up for debate. Out of his reach as Koharski lifted his stick. Here's Brady's shot will go wide of the net. Let's let that one rip from the Rockstar zone in the corner. Here's McNeil. Shot blocked by Saulnier. Here's Mackinnon. Cooper Mackinnon will try and weave his way through the defenders in the neutral ice as it gets hit to the wall by Morris. Hall gets the puck off of his stick. Flick to center. It's going to be sent over by DeBay. Through the skate of Brady. Saulnier last man back for the V's. Played back in deep. Here's Koharski as Morrison makes the play at the wall. Here's Hall. Can't get by Mackinnon. He'll play it in the corner. Aaron looking for the loose puck as Morrison gets there first. Morrison trying to clear. Kept in by Cooper Mackinnon. Let a shot go. That's going to go off a body and wide. Here's McNeil pinching in. Keeps it inside the zone. Osmond looking for that loose puck. Battle ensues along the wall. DeBay finds it in the corner. Here's Devin DeBay. Pass in front. That will go through everybody. Comes free for Reed LaRue. V's have numbers the other way. Here comes LaRue with Osmond. 2-on-2. LaRue looking to find Osmond towards the goal. It's going to bounce free in the slot. Hit will fit the puck. Here's Osmond. Kane Osmond over to Henry Ayotte. Ayotte will walk in and shoot one blocked. Rebound comes loose. Ayotte shot again. Just goes wide. A couple good looks there, but the V's have not hit the net much. Just the one time. And that will be icing. Or no, Max, we have to play it. So must not have been icing. Here's Hillier. Hillier will stretch a pass up for Reed LaRue. LaRue will back him one in the zone. Thompson back to retrieve it for the Armada. Counted on the forecheck. DD pass finds Lyndon Todd. Todd will flick one through center. Looking for Voyaguers. Good desperation play by Ayotte to prevent a possible breakaway. As Uvari finds it, he'll send it towards the net. That's going to go wide off the dump in. Thompson over to Todd behind the net. Here's Lyndon Todd up for Voyaguers. Zach Voyaguers. Watch out as Koharski at the bench. Went for the puck, not the body. As Count finds it, there's a hit in front of the Armada bench. That's going to be dumped in deep. Here's Uvari, and on the forecheck, Thompson finds it. Thompson over to Todd behind the net. 7.25 to go in the first. Uvari on the forecheck as Pickram gets in front of him. Thompson takes the pass from Todd behind the net. Centering pass intercepted. Here's Saulnier up for Uvari. Uvari shot into the glove of Pickram. And that will stop play. Pickram at the top of his crease makes the save. Pickram did not get the start in game one, but he's back in the Armada crease for a potential deciding game of this series. Elimination game here in game two of this best of three. Puck is dropped. One back for Carew, but he couldn't hold the line, forced to retreat neutral ice. Here's Jonah Carew. With 7 minutes to go in the first. Puck will bounce its way into the zone. Uvar looking to poke that loose. P now gets back in time as that's going to be chipped off the wall. Here's Koharski. Can't get it in deep. Chisholm finds a loose puck trying to get by Carew. He does. Chisholm shot. Stop. Rebound off the post or something. Might have hit something on the way through his P now. Plays it over to Bungay. Bungay will throw it towards it. It comes free in front. Rebound. Scores. Alt makes the move in front. And the Armada strike first blood in game two. Puck found its way to the stick Number 21, Mason Alt. He made a nice move in tight. Slipped it past Reed, and the Armada had the first goal tonight. $13-26 the time of the marker. Armada strike first here at home. Olmsted will chip it in deep against Mackinnon for the loose puck. Mackinnon gets by him and makes a play. Turned over. Here's Osman. Osman trying to work it in deep. Comes free for Snow. Down low. Osman finds it again. Will whack it in deep. Ross looking for the loose puck. As Hall pinching through. Keeps it inside the zone. Here's Jaden Hall out of the corner. Shot off the blocker. Rebound cleared away by McNeil. McNeil up for Creighton. It's going to be kept in by Hall. Here's McNeil. Again with the puck. He'll go cross ice. Watch out. That nearly went inside the Armada bench. Olmsted finds it. That's going to be sent in deep. Mackinnon over to McNeil. He'll flick one through center. As Olmsted can't corral it. McDonald finds it in his own zone. Over to Hall. Here comes Shaden Hall. The Donair Cup champion will make a move. Hall still has the puck. Shot! Scores! Shaden Hall has just tied this game with a beautiful goal. A quick response from the V's. Hall goes all the way. Crossbar. Bar Mexico. And it is all tied up here in Bedford. What a move from Jaden Hall. We're all square once again, just like we started here at the Greenfield Energy Center. That's going to be dumped in deep by the V's. It's going to be played to the corner. There is Todd. Todd up for Chisholm. That's going to bounce off a second go out of play. How about that goal from Jaden Hall? The following shift, after giving up a goal, the V's go back and tie the game. Face-off will be inside the Armada zone. Muse in for the draw against Surratt. Puck is dropped. One ahead. Here's McDonald, the blocker. Save made by Pregame. That's a big stop. Here's McDonald again. He'll play it in deep. Fourth line out there for the V's, led by Morris. Here's Thompson up for Mason All, the goal scorer. All will hesitate and make the play up for Surratt. Surratt has Chisholm with them 2-on-2. And that's going to be offside at the line. With 5:12 to go in the first. Great crowd on hand here tonight to witness some great hockey in this U16 AAA Hockey League Best of 3 series between two rival teams, the Armada and the V's. They've been going at it since the inception of the league 8 years ago. No different here tonight. It's going to be worked free. Here comes Cowan. Cowan can't find Osmond, streaking towards the other side. It's going to be picked off by Jack Brady and sent into the zone. 5 minutes to go in the first. Cycle pass finds Carew. Carew up for Kane Osmond. Here come the Voyagers. Osmond trying to sprint Cowan, but well defended by P now as he gets in front of that pass. Here comes Brady. Brady can't get to the puck first as Hilliard pokes him off the biscuit. Here's LaRue with the puck. Over to Osmond. Osmond back for LaRue. LaRue will walk in, make a move. Pass on goal and score! Reed LaRue has just taken the lead for the Voyagers. Nifty move from Reed LaRue. The latest member of the V's has just scored one of the biggest goals of the season. Two quick ones for the hockey club called the Voyagers. Reed LaRue dances his way to the net. Backhander gets by Bikram. And how about that? That's going to be one back by the Armada. They have a road ahead of them now trying to tie this game. They're down by 1 here in the first. Here's Saulnier. That's going to be batted down by McNeil. McNeil will go up and high off the netting, and that will stop play. As Hall gets the assist, so he has 2 points in the first period. A goal and an apple for number 8, the Donair Cup champion. 4:18 to go. Saulnier in for the draw against O'Leary. Puck is dropped. One back. Here's Osmond, takes a hit as that's Demille on the side of that one. Here's Fougere. Fougere with Hakala. That's going to be out of his reach on the pass ahead. Play down low. Here's Hakala over for Fougere. Fougere looking to center for O'Leary. That's going to go up and high and gloved down by Max Reed. With 4:01 to go. There's a scrum in front of the net. Hakala in the mix. As Morrison trying to get out there for a late change, but Waharski will be forced to stay out there. O'Leary against Uvari. Puck is dropped. One to the line. Fougere up for McNeil. McNeil sitters one through. It's going to be stopped by Reed. Head coach Matt Donnelly urging his team to get to the front of the net. There's no traffic is the message from him right now. You got to get in front of the eyes of Reed if you want to try and get one past him. Just inside 4 minutes to go in the first. V's scored two quick ones to take the lead, 2-1. Spinning pass from behind the net will go off the side of the cage. Here's Hakala down low, looking for O'Leary. That'll bounce off the stick of Fougere. Comes free for Uvari. Here's Darcy Uvari, the Slovakian sniper, up for Luke Saulnier. Saulnier makes a move, but can't get by McNeil. Hakala finds it, find his own net. Joel Hakala gets a hit from Saulnier. McNeil looking to clear as Fougere was pressured by Olmsted. That's going to come free the other way. 2-on-1 for the Armada. Here's Hakala with O'Leary. Hakala over to O'Leary, but he got his stick lifted. Good effort from Olmsted on the back check as he'll block the shot from the point out the rebound. 3:20 to go. Here's Uvari. Darcy Uvari will chip it off the wall. Kept in by Todd. That's going to be touched up, and that will be a whistle. .3:16 to go. V's will make changes, so will the Basin Armada. Van Polchis against Cowan. Puck is dropped. One back. Here's Todd. Lyndon Todd to the blue line will go D-to-D over to Thompson. Thompson Sifter will go off a body. Comes free for Van Polchis. Here's Lucas. Van Polchis pass in front looking for Creighton. That will bounce over his stick. Morrison have a chance to clear up for Lakeland Ross. That will escape the zone. Thompson finds it. Here's Charlie Thompson. Plays it ahead. That's going to be offside at the line. Just inside 3 minutes remaining here in the first. They'll drop the puck just outside the V zone on the far side. Puck hits the ice. Everyone's tangled up, but Cowan finds a loose puck. Here comes Braden Cowan with it. Cowan trying to get by Todd as they will get directed to the corner. Here's Carew. Takes a shove from Maimon into the wall. It's going to come free for Van Polchis, looking to clear. Kept in by Braden Cowan. As will be dumped in deep. V's will make a change. Here's Thompson. Thompson will stretch up for Creighton. Creighton through the middle for Lucas Van Polchis as Morris through center. Trying to pick it off. Comes free for Maimon as McDonald steers on the side. Puck comes free in front. There's a shot. Stopped by Reed. Doesn't know where it is, but it's in his equipment. And he'll freeze play. Puck is dropped. One back, here's Bungay. It's going to come free for Jaden Hall. He had a highlight reel goal to tie the game. His clearing attempt will go off the netting. That will stop play. 2:18 remaining in the first. Shots 12-6 in favor of the Armada. Max Reed coming up the clutch once again, just like he did in game one. Morris against Surratt for the face-off inside the V zone. Puck dropped. One back, here's Surratt. Up for Bungay. Bungay shot through the screen and we gloved down by Reed. As the top line for the V's will head out there for this face-off. .2:13 remaining. Cowan will take the face-off. Puck dropped. One back for Bungay. Bungay's shot will be blocked by LaRue. Comes free on the wall. Played ahead by Hall. Hall trying to spring LaRue. That will bounce past his stick. And that will Be no icing. Here's P now. Pass in front, will have to go off the stick. Comes free. Here's a chance for Osmond. Sent just wide. There's another chance. Here's Hall. LaRue gets the rebound off the pad of Pickram. Another chance. LaRue has it on the goal line. That will bounce off of his stick. Here comes Sebi Surratt. Inside 2 minutes to go. Armada might have numbers here. Surratt can't get by Hall, or now he does. Surratt will get steered to the corner by Count on the back check. Now there's a few jerseys in the corner. Puck comes free as Hall gets sent up. Comes free for Henry Ayotte. Over to Kane Osmond. Osmond get the red line and takes the hit as he dumps it in. Osmond gets the better of that exchange between him and Mackinnon. Puck comes free behind the net. 1:25 to go. Here's McNeil. McNeil up ahead for Bungay. Bungay gets taken to the wall by DeMille. Here's Auld. Auld in the corner with 1:15 remaining. As bodies are flying on the ice. Comes free. Here's Kaharski. One-timer shot will be stopped by Pickram. Pretty physical shift there from both sides. Osmond gets applauded from his teammates. .69 seconds remaining in the first. V's have a one-goal lead here over the Armada. Referee getting some repairs. So it's the linesman, sorry. His nose is all busted up. So I'll have to throw in the... There's a bit of leakage there from the linesman. But it's playoff hockey, folks. Everyone's banged up this time of year. Gotta try and play through it. Puck is dropped. It's going to be rimmed around the wall. Olmstead looking to keep it inside the zone. It's going to get past him at the blue line. Icing's waved off. Here's Kaharski with 1 minute to go in the opening period. Kaharski looking for the loose puck as DeBay. And on the forecheck, here's Ivan Aaron. Aaron will poke it free. Has it in the slot. Aaron will spin and fire one that will go off the pad of Reed. Makes the save in tight. Here's DeBay. He'll play it down low for Brady. Jack Brady has Aaron in front. Brady pass across. It will go through the sticks in front. Comes free in the slot. That's going to be off a shin pad and wide. 35 seconds to go in the frame. McNeil over to Mackinnon. Mackinnon will drag and shoot one through the screen off the post. Inches away from tying the game. Here's a rebound sent just wide off the deflection. Another chance will go up to the line. Bees can't clear. Glove down by Sonny. Higgle taken to the wall by Aaron. Comes free for Olmstead. That's going to be sent down the ice. Just enough to not be icing. Perfect dump by Olmstead. Here's Mackinnon. Mackinnon gets by the first defender and then the second and then the third. Mackinnon still has the puck. Trying to make a play with 6 seconds to go. It's going to come free and be sent inside the V's bench. As there's a few shoves in front of the bench. With 3.7 on the clock. Patrice Bergeron. Will we see the Armada pull the goalie here with less than 4 seconds to go? Face off inside the V zone. Don't see any signal yet, so it looks like they're going to play conservative here. If it were me, I'd pull that goalie. But it's not me. I'm just the guy talking about the game. Fougier against Osmond for the face-off. One back by the V's. Let's go off the glass. Play to the line, and that will do it for the first 20 minutes. There's a late hit by Thompson. As he'll get some applause from his bench. V's looking for a call on the play. Some fireworks to end off the period. Referees trying to get the V's back to the room. That's going to do it for the first 20. Electric opening frame. We'll take a quick break up here as Zamboni with the ice for the intermission. You're tuned into High Button Sports. Our coverage of the Nova Scotia U16 AAA Hockey League playoffs will continue in just a moment. Welcome back to the Greenford Energy Center. It's game number 2 of the Nova Scotia U16 Jimmy Hockey League Playoff Series between the Voyagers Hockey Club and the Basin Armada. V's won game 1 on Monday, and they have a 1-0 series lead in this best of 3. So an elimination game here in Bedford tonight. Armada are on their face right now, but they're on the power play to start the period. They're down by a goal as they open the scoring off the stick of Mason Alden in front, but then 2 quick goals in the V's from Jaden Hall and Reed LaRue. As is at 2-1. LaRue took an unsportsmanlike penalty at the end of the period, so the Armada will start the middle frame on the man advantage, looking to tie the game. As Cooper Makinen has the puck. Makinen will lead the rush. Up for O'Leary. O'Leary will try and work into the zone as he's met there at the blue line. That's going to be cleared down the ice. 20 seconds into the second period. There's Makinen. Makinen can't get the puck up the ice. It's off a skate. Uvari and Snow out there to try and kill out this penalty with Hall and Morrison. That'll be chipped into the zone. Morrison wins the battle against Voyaguers. Morrison. That's going to come free off the wall. Here's Hakala. Joel Hakala top of the circle over across for O'Leary. O'Leary will make his way wide. O'Leary will throw it around the wall. It's going to make its way outside the zone. Here's Cooper Makinen with the puck as he'll try and get by Conroy Snow, but Snow does a good job on the forecheck. Places the puck in the corner. Here's Uvari. He'll play it in deep. Uvari will go skate to stick on the wall. The Slovakian native will play it in deep. As they'll go for a change. Here comes Devin DeBay. DeBay trying to get by DeMille, unable to do so. Good job by DeMille on neutral ice. So that will be poked free. Here's Kaharski. Kaharski will send it down the ice. 40 seconds to go. There's Makinen still out there for the man advantage. There's Cooper Makinen. That's going to be sent up the ice for Brady. Brady looking for Van Polge. He's intercepted by Olmstead. That's going to be cleared to neutral ice. There's Makinen. Makinen trying to get by Muse. Makinen still has the puck. He'll go wide by Olmstead. Here comes Cooper Makinen towards the goal, trying to lift it over the shoulder, but that will go up and high and into the netting. 12 seconds to go on the LaRue penalty. New puck in this game. Face off to the glove side of Reed. Puck is dropped. One back. Here's Carew, who'll rim it around the wall. Comes free as Osmond will poke it to center. 7 seconds to go on the power play. Here is Todd over to Thompson. Thompson up to the ice. Finds Mason All. Back to 5-on-5. LaRue on the ice. Here's Hillier. Hillier trying to get by Chisholm on the forecheck. It's going to come free in the corner. Sent across the ice. There's Kane Osmond. Up for Carew, pinching through. Carew can't get it in cleanly. LaRue there to dump it in deep. That'll bounce off the M wall. Here's Charlie Thompson. Thompson, as that will be whistled down, which will stop play. So, both sides asking why the whistle blew. As Thompson and LaRue will both go to the penalty box. LaRue right back in the sin bin. Puck is dropped. Still 5-on-5. Here's Carew. Carew will play it ahead for Cowan with Osmond. Shot will just sail past the top shelf and wide. Good look there from Cowan. That puck came off his stick in a heap. Here is Kane Osmond down low. Osmond will try and work it free. As Chisholm will play it through the middle. It's going to bounce off the stick of Surratt. Here comes Ald. Ald with the puck. Trying to get by the defender. Will fake the drop pass, hold on to the puck. Ald has the only goal for the Armada tonight. Play the down low. Here's Chisholm. Here's Chisholm. As Saulnier will chip it across. It's 2 minutes on each side for Thompson and LaRue. Here's Cowan. Puck finds Carew. Crew will work it towards the goal. Here's Solomon. Pass across, finds Osmond. Shot, stop, rebound, scores! Kane Osmond scores, and it's 3-1. KO delivers a knockout punch for the V's. Kane Osmond makes it 3-1 here in Bedford. And there goes Pickrem. Hewlett McLeod will enter the game. New goaltender for the Armada in desperation mode, trying to keep their season alive. Three goals and 11 shots on Pickrem. Basin looking for a spark. 2-goal lead for the V's, their biggest lead of the series. Biggest lead overall in the series between both sides. Puck comes free by the net. Here's Ayotte. Ayotte looking to get by the forecheck. It's going to come free in the corner. Pass in front for Hackler. Shot will just go wide. Pass to the pad. Here's McNeil. Played in the corner. Comes free. Here's Voyaguers. Voyaguers pass in front. It's going to go off the skate. And straight up top. Mackinnon will drag and shoot one. This goes past the top shelf and wide. That's going to be worked to the opposite wall. Here's McNeil. McNeil down low for Voyaguers. Voyaguers towards the goal. Looking for O'Leary. Finds him. Here's Seth O'Leary. Shot blocked by Ayotte. Rebound comes loose in front. Still there. Here's O'Leary looking to dig it loose. That's going to be spun and fired towards the goal, but wide of the net. Here's Mackinnon. Mackinnon is his pass intercepted by Henry Ayotte. Ayotte up across looking for the stick of Hall. It's going to bounce its way inside the Armada zone, and that will be icing. Just past the 4 marker of the second period. Three to 1 is your score. DeMille against Van Polges for the draw. Puck hits the ice. One to the corner. Ayotte over to Hall. Hall had a beautiful goal to tie the game in the first period. Zalby sent down the ice. Bungay back to retrieve it. Has Ross in the forecheck. There's Maidman up for Van Polges. Here comes Lucas Van Polges, as that's going to be sent to the opposite corner off the dump in. Morris looking for it. This will get hit against the wall. Todd lays a boom on the blue line. He's free back up top. That's going to be poked free by Lachlan Ross. And on the forecheck, but Bungay gets there first. Ross will peel off for a change. Here's Bungay. Up ahead, chipped by Maidman. He finds Van Polges. Van Polges met the line by Olmstead. Comes free. Here's Maidman. Shot. That will go up and high and that'll rim its way to the opposite wall for Todd. Todd down low finds Maidman. Up top for Todd. Lyndon Todd will fake the shot, or fake the pass and shoot one on net off the pad. Comes free. Here's Morrison. We'll work to the corner. Up the glass. That's going to get by the skate of Todd, and that will be sailed down the ice. Hewlett McLeod will let that go in the corner for an icing call. LaRue and Thompson. As V's did not like that one. Donnelly did not like the way that the V's got on the ice there for the change off the icing. Face-off will be inside the V zone. DeMille in for the draw, one back to the line. It's going to bounce off the stick of P now. Here's Muse with McDonald. Here comes Houston McDonald. Well, a shot goes, gets blown up on the release. Big hit there on the Armada side. That will get their bench going, down by a pair. Here's DeMille, loses the handle. Comes free for Ivan Aaron. It's only out the bench, will poke it off of his stick. Here comes DeBay. DeBay has Aaron towards the net. That's going to be played in the corner as DeBay blew a tire. Here's Kaharski. Kaharski out the wall, kept in by McNeil. Poked ahead off a skate, comes free for Saulnier. Can't get by Mackinnon, neutral ice. Here's Cooper Mackinnon, the assistant captain, will try and work it wide. Met at the wall by the V's, and then they'll clear it down the ice. Here's P now. P now will go across. He's going to have a body on the way through. Here's DeMille with it now. Blake DeMille up for Uvari. Here's Darcy Uvari. Shot up high. Will be gloved down by Hewlett McLeod. He'll freeze play. Face-off will be inside the Armada zone. Saulnier, Uvari, and DeMille out there for the draw. Hall and Hillier on the blue line. Surratt out there with Chisholm alongside Alds and Bungay and McNeil on the blue line. Here's Uvari out of the corner. Backhand will go on net. Rebounds there, but cleared away. Uvari on the wall. Will play it back in deep. DeMille on the forecheck. Here's Blake DeMille with the puck. We'll try and work it down low. Play up top. Here's Ald. Can't get past Hall at the blue line. Here's Shaden Hall. It's taken down from behind. Arm stays down as well. Here comes Chisholm. Chisholm met there by Saulnier at the neutral ice. Gets it right back. Chisholm. Shot will go into the glove of Reed, and there'll be no rebound. Max Reed freezes play with the mitten. Osmond line head back out there with LaRue and Count. Armada will oppose with the Van Polgis, Maidman, and Creighton line. Puck dropped. One back to the point. Here's Todd. Lyndon Todd will make his way to the middle and shoot one off the stick of Max Reed. Here's Van Polgis out of the corner. Makes his way up the wall, over across. Finds Todd. Todd shot towards the goal, had a body on its way through. Count finds it in the corner. Him and Ayotte battle for possession for the V's. Here's Osmond. Osmond will try and clear. Kept in. Here's Maidman. No look pass over to Craven. Finds Thompson. Thompson shot blocked. Rebound comes loose for Kane Osmond. Osmond just scored to make it 3-1. He'll find LaRue streaking through center. That's going to bounce off of his stick. Comes free neutral ice. LaRue will slap it into the zone. Here's Thompson. Thompson up for Creighton. Creighton trying to clear. Count keeps it in. That's going to be off the stick of Hugh McLeod. That will go out of play for the whistle. .12:42 to go in the second. V's up a pair here in the middle frame. DeMille, Ross, and Snow out there for the face-off against O'Leary, Hakala, and Fougere. Puck dropped. One ahead. Kaharski finds it on the wall. Kaharski will try and work it in deep. Takes a hit on the boards. O'Leary finds it. Over to Pinow. Pinow up for Zach Fougere. Fougere trying to work it past Olmstead. Can't do so. There's Ross. Can't feed Snow. Neutral ice. Comes free for O'Leary. O'Leary will try and work it in deep. Finds DeMille instead. DeMille will chip it off the glass. Comes free. Here comes Lachlan Ross. Will send it into the zone. Him and Hakala battle for the loose puck. Hakala gets there first. Put out the boards. Kept in by Kaharski. Kaharski fans on the puck. That's going to come free at center ice. That's going to be a penalty on the play. Interference to call on Kaharski. Armada head of the power play. Hakala, O'Leary, Fougere, DeBay, and Mackinnon is the power play lineup. Trying to get back in this game. Cut the lead in half. They're down by 2. Looking to make it a one-goal game. Puck is dropped. One back. Here's Seth O'Leary. Loses the handle for a moment. Uvari lifts his stick into the wall. That's going to be sent down the ice by the Slovakian sniper who can kill off penalties as well. Here's DeBay. Trying to work it in the zone. Puts the brakes on. Played over cross of a saucer pass for O'Leary. Here's Seth O'Leary walking in and shooting one. That will go high and wide. Here's Mackinnon. Cooper Mackinnon to the half wall for DeBay. Back up top for Mackinnon. Over cross for O'Leary. Here's O'Leary through the middle for Hakala. One-timer. That's going to go off a body in front. Looking for that high bumper. One-timer. The Armada on the power play. Here's Fougere. Up for DeBay. One-timer. Is loose in front. And they score. Joel Hakala. And it's a one-goal game. Puck was loose in the crease. Hakala bangs it home. The Armada have life here in the second. They sure needed that one. Joel Hakala cuts lead in half for the Armada. 11:24 to go. It's a one-goal game here in Bedford. Van Polgis against Count at center ice. Here's Van Polgis. He'll win it ahead. Can't get by Carew as he uses his skate to defend him. It's going to come free for Mackinnon at center ice. Dumped in deep. There's Hillier looking for the puck, but Van Polgis has a step on him. Carew finds the puck down low. Carew Looking to spring Osmond, intercepted by P now as Cowan finishes his hit. Here's Carew again, up to the middle for LaRue. LaRue plays it back for Osmond. Here comes Kane. Osmond with a Golden Knight. Osmond towards the middle. One-timer fanned on by Cowan. Here's Carew. Played it down low for Osmond. Osmond makes a move, but Mackinnon pins into the wall. Van Polgeest has the puck for the Armada. Looking to flick it through center as that's going to be gloved down by Carew. Here's Carew. As looking knocked off the puck. Chance of the way. Here comes Maidment. Maidment will walk in and shoot one that will go up and high. Past the glove side. Here's Mackinnon. Takes a hit from Osmond. Puck in the corner. Maidment up top. That's going to bounce its way out of the zone. There's P now, back in his own zone, looking to stretch it up ahead for Mackinnon. Does so, finds Van Polgeest. Has been intercepted by Cowan on the back check. Cowan will chip it to himself off the wall. Braden Cowan takes it wide. Cowan still has it. Shot will go wide of the net. Rebound comes loose. Osmond looking for it. It's going to go off a stick, and it's going to be bad out of midair with a high stick. As Ayotte will touch it up, that will nullify the high stick and call. Puck will come free as McNeil off the bench collects the puck. Here's McNeil walking in and shooting one up and high. Rebound will go off the side of the net. Here's Olmstead over to Ayotte. 10 minutes have gone here in the second. We're halfway through regulation. It's 3-2 here in Bedford. Here's Ayotte. Henry Ayotte has the puck. That's the red line. Will send it in deep. Takes a hit in the process from Ivan Aaron. Here's Morris on the forecheck. Comes free. Here's McNeil with it now. McNeil met by LaRue in the corner. McNeil up for Jack Brady. Brady had the puck bounce on him as Muse pressures him. Pass across. Here's Ivan Aaron. Aaron will make his way to the middle. Can't get by the stick of Muse as Morris pokes it free. Morris will play to the opposite wall, but nobody was home. Here's DeBay. 9.5 to go in the second. Saucer over to Aaron. Here comes Ivan Aaron. Will make his way towards the goal. Blocked off the shin pad of Henry Ayotte. Rebound play towards the goal. It's loose in front, but covered up by Max Reed. And so frees play. There's a bit of a conundrum in front of the net. Both teams have some words for each other. Morris in the mix. Ivan Aaron and him have some words for each other. 9:14 to go. Armada just scoring the power play to cut into the lead. It's 3-2. Saulnier against Surratt for the face-off. Puck dropped. One back for Hall. Here's Jaden Hall. We'll put the brakes on behind the net. Looking to get by the forecheck. Hall will steer towards the corner. Played up the wall for DeMille. DeMille back for Kaharski, the weak side D-man. Here comes Nate Kaharski. Gets the red line. Kaharski gets short of the puck, but comes free for Saulnier. Saulnier, Oda Uvari. Shot. Scores! Darcy Uvari has just scored, and it's 4-2. V's back up top by a pair as the Slovakian sniper is first in the playoffs. The V side of the crowd is fired up. 4-2 is the score. Back and forth this game goes. Just past the halfway mark of the second. V's back up a pair. Darcy Uvari beats the goaltender. As there's a hit on Hillier from Hakala. Played in deep. Here's Cowan. That's going to be worked to the wall. Here's Mackinnon. We'll get pinned to the ball. Battle ensues in the corner. Comes free on the boards. Cowan has the puck. Braden Cowan will play it outside the zone. Cowan will take a hit at center ice from Hakala. Big collision there right in front of the camera. Here's Cowan again. Cowan trying to work his way in deep. Gets taken down by Hakala again. Another hit on Snow. Here's Ross as he'll get off the puck. 3 big hits from the Armada looking to get back in this game momentum-wise and in the scoreboard. Here's Ross. Takes the intercepted pass. Lachlan Ross will work it in deep and go for a change. There's P now out of his own corner. 8 minutes to go in the second. That's going to be chipped in deep by O'Leary. Olmstead and him battle for the loose puck. O'Leary lifts the stick. Comes free for Carew. Here's Jonah Carew. He'll flick it down the ice. That's going to bounce its way just inside the zone. Not enough for icing. Here's P now. P now out of his own corner. Will stretch a pass up center for Fougere. Fougere gets by Saulnier. Throws the puck. He'll get the line and send it in deep. Morrison back to retrieve the puck. Morrison as to leave it for Olmstead. Put up the wall. Maidment off the bench. Collects it. Maidment down low. As Creighton finds it. Creighton will chip it ahead. Finds Van Polgeest in the corner. Van Polgeest as it's going to be stripped by Uvari. Uvari up for Saulnier. Here come the V's. Saulnier will work it through the defender, McNeil, but just gets a piece of it to prevent him from advancing. Here's Morrison. Shot from distance. Will go off the blocker, Hubert McLeod. Osmond will head on there for the ice. Hit will fit the puck. Here's DeMille. Blake DeMille will play it towards the middle. Here's Saulnier. He can't get the puck free. Chance the other way. Armada have numbers. 3-on-2. Here's Van Polgees with Mayman and Creighton. Van Polgees will go wide. Trying to drop it off of the blue line. Intercepted. Here comes Saulnier. Saulnier over to Osmond. Osmond back towards Saulnier. Saulnier can accept the feed in front. Beautiful area pass by number 18. DeMille on top for Ayot. He'll walk it and shoot one. Rebound there, but just goes wide. Here's DeMille in the corner. Pass in front that's going to go through the crease. Hall will pinch in to keep it inside the zone. Here's Bungay. Can't get to the loose puck. Maidman finds it on the wall. Luke Maidman with 6.5 to go in the second. Will flick one through center. Hall there to retrieve it. Here's Jaden Hall, the assistant captain. He'll go off the glass. Looking for LaRue. Finds him. LaRue will slap that one in deep. It's going to bounce its way in for Cowan. Between the legs. Shot. Rebound sent just wide. As Kane Osmond almost brought the house down with that goal. Maven will chip it in deep. Ayot back to retrieve it. Ayot will take a spill in the corner. Puck comes free on the wall. Here's DeBay looking for a teammate in front. It's going to come free past the blue line. Thompson forced to retreat, neutral ice. Over to Todd. Into Ton up the wall. It's going to bounce off the stick of DeBay. There's a hit on Osmond. As DeBay stands up Osmond like a bad date. Here's Thompson, poked free by Braden Cowan. Here comes Cowan. Shot will go off the stick in the opposite direction and wide of the net. Here's Brady. Trying to clear. It's going to come free for Jonah Carew. Jonah Carew can't get it in deep. That's going to be played in the corner. Ayot against Erin for the loose puck. Played up ahead, but picked off by Ryan Morris. Here come the Voyagers. Morris can't get by Brady as he picks his pocket. Played over. Here's DeBay. He'll flick it towards the goal. It's going to bounce its way off the pad of Max Reed, and he'll freeze play. With 5:22 to go in the second. It's a 4-2 lead for the Voyagers. Morris against O'Leary for the faceoff. Puck is dropped. One back. Here's Kaharski. It's going to be clear but not out. Hakala takes it over. Hakala will drop it in the corner. Shot towards the goal at the pad. Van Polgees let that one rip. Played up the wall. Here is Makinen. Makinen will try and get by McDonald. Makinen will play it through center. Up ahead. Here's McDonald. He can't get by the last line of defense. That was Pina at the red line. Pina will get the blue line, send it in deep. Oh, rim its way around the wall. 5 minutes to go in the second. Here's Carew. That will be sent down the ice. That will trickle its way inside the Basin zone. Not enough for icing once again by Jonah Carew, the veteran defenseman. Knows what he's doing out there. Muse finds a loose puck in the corner off the turnover. Pass in front looking for Lachlan Ross. Just out of his reach as Osmond poking in the corner. Osmond takes a hit from Pinau. Comes free from Makinen. Here's Cooper. Makinen will look for an option. Plays it up ahead. Makinen will get the red line and send it in deep in the opposite corner. 4.5 to go in the second. Here's Kaharski. Backhand over to Olmstead. As Olmstead can't get there in time. O'Leary gets a turnover. There's a chance in front of O'Leary. Shot blocked. Rebound sent towards the goal. That will miss everybody and go out of the zone. 4:15 to go. Here's McNeil. Over to Makinen. Makinen will enter the zone and let a shot go. Fanned on. It might have been blocked as well. I'm not sure. Olmstead. Over to Kaharski. Here is Nate Kaharski with the puck on his stick. He'll play it up for Kane Osmond. Here comes Osmond down the right wing wall. Osmond still has in the lane. Shot will go off the shoulder. Trying to fool the goaltender, Hewlett McLeod, but he stands his ground. Puck comes free, neutral ice. Here's Kaz Hillier with the puck. Hillier will play it towards the Armada zone. It's going to bounce its way into the defensive zone for the Armada. Here's DeMille. Up ahead for Saulnier. Skate to stick. Shot off the side of the cage. Surratt finds a loose puck. Surratt, Azald trying to accept that pass, and he couldn't do so as he was hit. Here's Olmstead against Chisholm for the loose puck. Olmstead to the middle, picked up by Surratt. Surratt will spin. Can't get by the stick of Olmstead. Here's McNeil. Shot through the screen, blocked in front. Here's Surratt again. As Chisholm clears the lane, pass in front. One-timer blocked. Rebound up top, blocked again by Ross. Here's Ald. Ald down low for Surratt. Surratt up top for Bungay. Bungay will hesitate and eventually shoot one through the screen. Rebound off the shin pad of DeMille. Here's Saulnier. Going to flick it up for Ross. Here comes Lachlan Ross towards the goal as his out of jets there at the end of his shift, so he'll peel out to the bench. There is Ald trying to get by the defenders. Over to Chisholm. Chisholm's saucer will be picked off by DeMille out of the middle of the air. 2:50 to go in the second. It's going to be dumped in deep. Saulnier looking for a loose puck. Battle ensues on the wall. Poaching in the corner. There's Bungay. Van Polgist over to Bungay. Bungay trying to flick it up ahead. Does so. Armada got the bounce. Here they come with numbers. Van Polgist will take it wide. Polgist trying to get by Morrison, but Morrison takes his man on the boards. There's Van Polgist. Up the wall. Plays it towards the center. As Morrison has the puck. Up for Leroux. Leroux trying to play it through the middle of the ice. Picked off by Mayman. Here comes the Armada. Shot will go up and high over the net. Creighton against Leroux for the loose puck. Comes free on the wall. It's going to be flicked up through the middle of the ice. Picked off by Todd. Over to Thompson. Charlie Thompson will scan the ice looking for a lane. Thompson will go up the boards on the near side. Looking for Creighton. Poked up ahead. Here comes Van Polgist towards the goal. Backhand pass across. Well defended by Morrison in a diving effort. Big play there by number 7 in blue. Battle in the corner. 1:45 to go in the second. They're trying to dig it loose on the near side corner inside the V zone to the glove side of Max Reed. That's still free now as here's Osmond. Osmond in the middle of the ice, picked off as Thompson can't get by Leroux on the forecheck. Thompson will be forced to play it back in his own zone. Leroux causing havoc. Thompson will play it ahead for Creighton. That'll come free neutral ice. That'll bounce out the stick of Osmond. Here's Thompson. Charlie Thompson will walk in, makes a move, can't get by Hall as he'll be forced to dump it in deep. Osmond play the corner as O'Leary enters the game off the bench. As Leroux battling with O'Leary. Puck comes free. Here's Hakala. Joel Hakala has the puck down low. Play to the line for Todd. He'll go off his backhand across for Thompson. Charlie Thompson will work it in deep for Fougier. Last minute to play here in the second. Here's Morrison. Play to the line. It's going to be kept in by the Armada as Leroux will force it out of the zone. Here's Cowan up for Kane Osmond. Osmond will make a move. Pass towards for Cowan. One-timer off the pad. Rebound sent towards the net. It's loose in front. Osmond whacking away. That's going to be covered up. What action here. Shots are dead even at 21. The score is 4-2 for the Vs. Morris, Muse, Ayotte, McDonald, and Carew against Hakala, O'Leary, Fougier, Pinau, and Makinen. As Van Polgist, Creighton, and Mayman will head out there instead. Puck dropped. See, work to the wall. And Polgist finds it, worked up ahead. That's going to get past the stick of Mayman. Played in deep. Here's Carew. Carew will go up the wall, off the rim. It's going to be kept in for a moment, but eventually cleared out by Muse. Here's Van Polgist with 25 seconds to go in the period. Van Polgist met at the blue line. Here's Ayotte. Ayotte will try and clear. It's going to end up in the bench, and that will stop play. Face off inside the V zone. Armada down by a pair. They'll send O'Leary, Hakala, and Fougier late in the period to try and draw within one at the end of the frame. Puck is dropped. Scrum draw, comes free in the circle. Saulnier had his stick lifted, couldn't get the puck. His crew finds it, he'll go off the netting. And that'll be another whistle. Surratt, Auld, and Chisholm head out there for the draw. Puck hits the ice, one to the corner. Here's Carew. Carew will rim it off the wall as Makinen finds it, chipped ahead by Uvari. 5 seconds to go in the period as Pinau will find it, played up ahead for Surratt, chipped into the zone. That's going to do it for the second. So the Voyagers will head to the second intermission, up by 2 goals. Armada with their season on the line. This could be their last period of play after the break. You're tuned in to High Button Sports coverage of the U16 AAA Hockey League playoffs. A huge third period coming up after the break. We'll see you then. Welcome back to Bedford, everybody. It's the third period of game number 2 in this best-of-3 series to try and determine who will go to member 2 for provincials. These have a 2-goal lead entering the final 20 minutes of regulation. Armada trying to keep their season alive, down by a pair. It was Mason All to open the scoring, followed by 2 quick goals by Jaden Hall and LaRue. Kane Osmond made it 4-1, 3-1 rather. And then Joel Hakala scoring the power play to make it 3-2. And then Darcy Uvari, shortly after, the Slovakian sniper found the twine to make it 4-2. That's our story so far. 40 minutes have come and gone. We're ready for the last 20. It should be an electric finish here in Bedford. Here comes Osmond. Osmond over to LaRue for Cone. One-time a rebound. Save! That's going to be stopped. Hughley McLeod shuts the door. As Hughley McLeod did not start the game. He came in relief after the third Voyagers goal. And he has a big save to start off the third period. This line of Cowan, LaRue, and Osmond has been dynamite in the postseason so far. Hall and Morrison on the blue line have been a great pair as well. Hall has a bit more flash, but Morrison is a lockdown defense. The definition of a lockdown defender, number 7 in blue. Here's Fougier. Fougier over across for O'Leary. O'Leary with Hakala will work it to the goal line. Shot will go off a stick and high and wide. That's going to be worked from the corner. LaRue pins his man on the wall. Battle ensues down low, 2-on-2. Cam looking to dig it free. It's going to be sent up ahead. Here comes Kane Osmond looking to get by P now. LaRue finds it. He'll whack it into the zone. As Osmond will peel off for a change. Here's Makinen trying to get by Count on the forward check. Uvari will enter the game for the third period. Here comes Makinen. Makinen will work it up ahead for Fougier. That'll be ahead of him. As Carew met by Fougier in the corner. Count still out there trying to dig it loose. Count over to Kaharski. Here is Nate Kaharski. He'll go up and high, and that will get past Thompson. Will that be enough for icing? And it will be. 1 minute and 2 seconds into the third. Great crowd on here tonight. One of the biggest attendances this season for the Armada. These two teams are close in proximity. The V's are just down the Bedford Highway, down Windmill Road, about 20 minutes from here. Here's Cowan. That's going to be worked through center by Van Polges. Out the turnover. Here's Carew up the wall. It's kept in barely by Creighton. Or no, he has to peel off as he was offside. It's going to be flicked down the ice, and that will be an icing once again. Matt Donnelly making sure that the linesmen and referees see who's supposed to stay out there. Cowan has been out there for the entire third after 2 straight icings. Van Polges, Creighton, and Maymont, Todd and Thompson are the 5 out there for Basin in the O-zone face-off after the second consecutive icing by the V's to start off the third period. One to the wall. Here's Creighton. He'll work it in the corner. Creighton has a man in front looking to find Van Polges. That's going to make its way to the side of the net. Comes free. Here's Kaharski. Up ahead. Looking for Sawney out of his reach. Here's Ollie Thompson. Thompson up for Maymont. Maymont up over for Creighton. Creighton back and back for Maymont. Got his stick lifted by Carew. Trying to get a stick on the puck in front. Here's Jonah Carew. Carew out of the corner. Pass up ahead for DeMille. Cross ice for Saulnier. Here comes Luke Saulnier with the puck. He'll get the line and send it in deep. That's going to bounce its way out the blocker of Hughley McLeod. Here's Thompson in the corner against Saulnier. Worked in deep. Here's Lyndon Todd. Todd up for Van Polges. Van Polges through center finds Ben Creighton. Here come the Armada up for Chisholm. Chisholm will try and work into the middle. Shot will go off the crossbar. Chisholm inches away from cutting the lead in half. Here's Olmsted. Up ahead for Saulnier. That's going to just bounce ahead of him, but he's able to get there first. Here's Luke Saulnier. He'll get the line and send it in deep. Takes a hit in the process. Here's Bungay. Isaac Bungay from behind the net. Up ahead for Mason Ald. That's going to be intercepted and sent in deep by Lachlan Ross. 17:20 to go in the third. Here's Ald. Has a goal in this game to his name. It's going to come free on the turnover. Here's Snow. Leads it for DeMille. Shot at the blocker. Nice save there by Hewlett McLeod. Here is Lachlan Ross up for Hall. Hall will walk towards the middle of the blue line, sent it just wide at the sifter shot from the line. Chisholm can't get by Snow. Puck comes free. That's going to be worked up ahead. Here's Surratt now with it. Surratt gets by the V's defender. Hillier gets there first. Up for Lachlan Ross. Ross loses the puck inside his own zone as Hall takes over. Hall up for Conroy Snow. Snow takes a hit from Surratt. Puck comes free. Here is Bungay. Bungay will walk in and shoot one off the shoulder of Max Reed. Comes free. Here's Hall. Cleared but not out. Here's Surratt at the top of the zone over to McNeil. McNeil will hesitate and eventually shoot it towards the net. Rebound off the pad. Here's Ald. Ald back here and get the shot off as Snow was on him. Here's Bungay up top. Shot blocked. Comes free. Here's Surratt. Surratt will work it in deep. Here's Snow now. Snow will work it back in deep as Hillier finds it. Here's Kaz. Hillier with the puck. Trying to work it out of the zone. He'll go off the glass up and high. McNeil gloves it down. Works it back in the zone. Played back to the line and cleared down. That will make its way into the Armada end, and that will be icing against the V's once again. Their third icing of the period already. Just 4 minutes in. Tamil and Ross forced to stay out there after the icing call. Tamil against the Bay for the face-off to the blocker side of Reed. One back as Aaron can pull the trigger. Here's Snow up for Ross. Ross will flick it ahead. That's going to find a stick of P now as Snow looking to burst loose. But he couldn't get the puck cleanly as Morris on the bench will force it into the zone. Here's Makinen. Cooper Makinen will just miss the stick of Brady. That will make its way all the way down, and that should be icing, and it will be. About 4.5 have gone. Lots of whistles here in a tight third period. Armada looking to keep their season alive. V's looking to move on to member 2 in the provincial championship tournament for the second straight year. Morris in for the face-off against the Bay. Puck is dropped. One to the corner. Here's Makinen. He'll go off the glass. It's going to come free at the center of the ice for Morrison. Morrison, as Brady finds it in neutral zone. Hughes will collect it on the blue line up for Pinow. Pinow will find the puck and shoot it towards the goal as Reed gloves it down. Here's Morrison. Armada are offside. Here's Morrison. Up for Colton McDonald. He'll get the red line and send it in the opposite corner and go for a change. There's Pinow. Up ahead as the V's are changing. Watch out there. Osmond might have got away with that one as he reverses to Bay. We're really looking for the loose puck. Here's Cowan. Braden Cowan will burst wide towards the middle. Cowan trying to get by Makinen, but Makinen takes him down, and that's going to be a penalty against the Armada. Here's Kaharski, and that will be touched up. I guess that's going to against the V's for holding. Not sure how Cowan could have held Makinen there as he was bear hugged by him. But it will be an Armada power play. Hakala, DeBay, Fougere, Makinen, and O'Leary out there. They have a power play go to their name tonight. Here's Makinen, over to O'Leary. O'Leary down low, finds Fougere. Here's Fougere. We'll try and work it in deep. Fougere will play it towards the middle. Here's a shot. That's going to squeak through Reed, but that will go wide. Another chance in front. That's going to be deflected off the side of the cage as Muse finds the puck as he'll go down the ice off the dump. Close call there. Armada not able to solve Reed yet here in the third. Here's Fougere. Through the middle of the ice. Gets by Hall. Drops it off. Here's a pass in front. Fougere just directs it wide. Might have got it tangled up in front. Here's DeBay. We'll walk in the top of the circle. DeBay pass across. Here's Hackler. Shot off the pad of Reed. What a stop! That's going to be cleared down the ice. What a save. Here's Cooper Makinen with it now. Makinen will get by the defender. Makinen will drag and shoot one blocked by Olmstead. Rebound the corner. Here's Fougere. Fougere has it down low up top. Here is O'Leary. O'Leary over across for DeBay. DeBay will let a shot go up high. That's going to go up and over the net, and that will stop play as the net came off. 57 seconds remaining in the Armada power play. What a save by Max Reed just a few moments ago. Joel Hakala was all alone on the doorstep with the puck, looking for his second power play goal of the night, but Reed denies him. Puck dropped. Armada still in the power play. Here's Maidment in the corner. Pass towards the net. Tip wide. Rebound's there. It's still loose. Reed makes the save again. Max Reed standing tall just like game one. Still 4-2. $50 seconds to go on the count penalty. Uvari against Van Polges for the face-off to the glove side of Max Reed. Here's Aaron in the corner, poked free by Ayotte. Van Polges finds it on the half wall. Here's Lucas Van Polges. Will play it up towards the blue line for Todd. Back down low, finds Ivan Aaron. Aaron gets his stick lifted by Ayotte, looking to clear. He gets taken down, and that will be a penalty. So we'll have 4-on-4 for 33 seconds and 1:27 power play time for the Vs. Great effort from Ayotte to draw the call. Ivan Aaron head of the box. Carew, Osmond, Ayotte, and Ross are the four out there for the Vs, while Thompson, DeBay, Pinal, and O'Leary are the four for the Armada. Osmond will head to the circle against O'Leary. Puck is dropped. One back. Here's Thompson over to Pinal on the D-to-D pass behind the net. Pinal to the middle of the ice, looking to spring O'Leary. That's going to be poked free by Ayotte. O'Leary will play it back in his own zone over to Pinal. Pinal will play it back. Finds Charlie Thompson. Thompson will drag and shoot one that will go past the blocker side and wide. Pinal gets pinned to the wall by Carew. Comes loose off the wall. Pinal will try and guide it in the corner. In the feet of Carew. It's going to be played to the wall now. As the Vs are now on a power play. Cowan back on the ice. Here's Ayotte with the puck on his stick. Ayotte up for Ross. Ross towards the middle. Leaves it for Cowan. Cowan shot through the screen, but he gloved down. Ayotte parked in front looking to screen the goaltender, but Hewlett McLeod was able to track the puck through the barrage. Cowan, LaRue, Osmond, Ross, and Hall out there for the power play. Puck dropped. One back. Here's Osmond. Over to Hall. Back for Osmond up top. Osmond will walk in and let a shot go up high. It's going to deflect off a body. Comes free on the opposite side for Cowan. Cowan over across looking for Osmond. Osmond will work it in the corner towards the goal. It's going to be chipped up high as Hall can't hold the line. That will bounce past his stick. Here's Jaden Hall. Will circle back as he has Alden on the forecheck. Up for Cowan. Here comes Braden Cowan, number 13 in blue. Has the puck, will go wide on the entry. Cowan gets taken in the boards hard. Puck comes free in the corner. That's going to be fired up the wall. Upped in by Ross. Lachlan Ross over to Hall. Hall can't collect it cleanly. He'll send it in deep. Picked off and cleared down the ice off a stick. Osmond, last man back, has Alden on him. Osmond leaves it behind the net for Hall. 25 seconds to go on the power play for the Vs. Hall up for Counts. Here's Braden Cowan, will rim it around the boards as Bungay there to collect it. As Ross on him on the forecheck. LaRue gets to the puck first. LaRue will work into the slot. Will spin and fire one, and it just goes wide of the net. 10 seconds to go on the power play. Bungay has some time and space, as he'll take the puck up the ice himself. Here's Isaac Bungay. Gets the blue line, but picked off by Cowan. As we're back to 5 apiece. Armada with a big penalty kill here in the third period. There's Carew as we're approaching the halfway mark of the third. Carew to Ayotte. Henry Ayotte will put the brakes on his own zone on the ringette line. Plays it over for Carew, the captain. Carew will fire it up the ice. Looking for the stick of DeMille. It's going to deflect into the zone. 11 minutes remaining here in the third period. Uvari lifts his stick down free with the puck. Creighton. That's going to be turned over. Ayotte trying to hold the line. Comes free. Here comes Seth O'Leary. One-on-one with Carew. O'Leary will try to drag through the defender. Gets taken down by DeMille on the back check. Here's Carew. Over for Ayotte. Ayotte's got to be careful. Hackland on the forecheck but makes the play. There's Saulnier. Luke Saulnier, the hero in game one, will chip it in the corner. Battle ensues down low as Todd gets his stick lifted by Saulnier but still collects the puck. Here's Todd. Up from Fougere. That'll bounce off of his stick. Comes free, but Olmstead directs it out of the zone. Here's DeMille. Blake DeMille will fire it in deep past Thompson. Todd back to collect it on the opposite wall. Here's Lyndon Todd. Pass across. Will bounce off his skate. Here's Olmstead. Olmstead will work it in deep. Comes free for DeMille down low. Here's Blake DeMille looking for an option. Gets his stick lifted at the bottom of the circle on the far side. Puck comes loose. Here's Hackala. Joel Hackala has the puck looking through the middle of the ice. It's going to miss everybody. And that will bounce its way towards the net. But Morrison there to steer it away from Zach Fougere. Here's DeMille. One-touch pass from Hughes. Hughes will work it ahead, trying to get it in deep, and he will. As we're past the halfway mark of the third, here's Thompson. Thompson will work the puck up the ice, picked off by Ryan Morris. Here is Morris on the goal line, pass in front off the body as sprawling down in the diving effort was Thompson. McDonald there to play it back in deep. Morris looking to find a loose puck. It's taken the wall by Pinow. Kuharski pinching in. Puck comes free ahead for Thompson. He's met there by Hall. Here's Hall. He'll try and work it in deep. It's going off the stick of McDonald. Here's Thompson again. Thompson trying to get by Morris on the forecheck. Does so. Nice escape move. Here comes Charlie Thompson. Big number 5 has the puck for the Armada over to Van Polgis. Van Polgis will try and work it in deep past Kuharski. That's taken to the boards. Puck comes free in the corner. 2-on-2 down low. Morris trying to work it free. Still a battle down low. Comes free for Maidman. Here's Luke Maidman. Will saucer it towards the middle as Creighton was all tangled up. Couldn't accept the passes. Tipped on goal. Off the redirection in front. That will just go wide. 8:50 to go. Kuharski looking for it in the corner. Comes free for Jaden Hall. Hall has the puck to the middle of the ice. Poked up ahead. Here comes Osmond with it now. Kane Osmond will work it in wide on the near side. Gets by the defender. Osmond in front. There's a pass towards the goal. As McDonald was looking for the return feed there, but he played in the corner. Here's Osmond. Up for Carew. Carew will walk over to the wall. He'll play it off the boards looking for the bounce. Finds McDonald down low. As McNeil wins the battle. McNeil looking to play it out and up in the zone. As Hillier finds it. Kaz Hillier has the puck on his stick. Will play it through the middle. As that'll get past Count. Comes free to Bay as McDonald and him collide. Here's Carew with 8 minutes to go in the third. Here's Hillier now with the DDD pass up ahead for Osmond. Osmond looking to break loose, but he can't get by the red line. Puck is bouncing for Cowan. Cowan trying to work it ahead for LaRue. Here's Osmond. Osmond over to LaRue. That's going to be poked off of his stick by Brady. Clear to the line, but kept in by Hillier. Over to Carew. Here's Carew walking in and shooting one up high. Just missing the crossbar. Here's McNeil. McNeil plays it over. Finds Devin DeBay. Here comes DeBay for the Armada with Brady. Stays on side. DeBay shot towards the goal. Will go off a stick. It's going to be sent up and high at the blue line. Kept in by Ivan Aaron. Aaron will get past LaRue. Makes a nice few moves. Aaron saws the puck. But a shot goal. This goes wide. Rebounds there. Brady has another chance. Reed. What a save with the stick. Off the rebound. Are you kidding me? Max Reed. Showstopper from number 31 in blue. Just gets enough off the rebound. It's still 4-2. How about that from Max Reed? Face-off will be just outside the V zone, right in front of their bench. Surratt against DeMille for the draw. One back for Bungay. He'll play it up for Chisholm. Chisholm will try and do it to the screen. Chisholm will find the puck in the corner. Up top finds Bungay. Bungay in the middle of the ice will shoot one up high. Glove down by Max Reed. Still 4-2. No scoring yet here in the third. Hackala, Fougere will head out there. With O'Leary as well. Saulnier, DeMille, and Uvari will try and defend them with Morrison and Ayotte. Here's Fougere in the corner. Fougere towards the net. That's going to go through the crease and wide. Here's Bungay. We'll work it down low. DeMille gets taken off the puck with a hit. Morrison looking to clear. As 2-on-2 ensues in the corner. A few cross checks along the wall. Fougere looking to dig it loose. Comes free as DeMille looking to find the loose puck. sent in deep by the Armada. 6:45 to go here in the third. Ayotte looking to dig it free. Here's Uvari. He'll play it down the ice, and that will be an icing call against the V's. It's crunch time here in Bedford. Armada looking to keep their season alive. V's trying to punch their ticket to provincials. Van Polgeest against the middle to the blocker side of Reed. Every face-off oh so important from here on out. Puck is dropped. One back for Pinow. That will get past him at the blue line. Carter Pinow up for Lucas Van Polgeest. Here comes number 23 in white. Van Polgeest will work through center. Takes it wide. Van Polgeest looking to play it towards the goal off the stick of Reed. Here's Braden Cowan with the puck now for the V's. Here comes Cowan, streaking down the right wall. Has it in the middle. Gets taken off the puck for a moment. Gets it right back. Cowan will circle back towards the blue line and send it back in deep. V's are going to kill some clock here, up by a pair here in the third. Here's Bungay, kept in by the shin pad of Cowan. So try and work it free, gets taken down. Here comes Brady the other way. 2-on-2. Muse on the back check. Puck comes free. Muse gets pinned to the wall by Maidment. Ross looking to dig it free. There's Brady. Brady will play it towards the middle. Van Polgeest can't get a stick on it. Cycled in deep. Here's Brady. Looking in front for Van Polgeest. Shot low. Rebound. There. Cleared away. Here's Maidment down low in the opposite corner for Brady. 5:40 to go. Up top. There's Bungay. Played it back in deep by Thompson. Maidment finds it. Maidment down low. Backhand pass up top for Pinow. Pinow back down low. Trying to get the hop off the wall. It's going to bounce its way to the opposite corner. Pinching in is Thompson. Has Muse on him. Works it down low. Olmsted finds the puck. He'll look up ice for an option. Finds Lachlan Ross. Ross up from Muse. Just out of his reach. And that will be no icing as Muse beats it out. Muse will pin himself to the wall. Comes free for Pinow. Muse gets it back in the forecheck. Muse like a dog in the bone behind the net. Looking to kill some clock for the V's. As there's 5 minutes left now here in the third. Here is Pinow. Up through center. Finds Fougere. Come the Armada. Fougere has a step towards the goal. Fougere stopped by Reed with a stick in the poke check. Here's Todd. Over for DeMille. DeMille gets tangled up in the neutral ice by Hackala. Chipped up ahead. Comes free on the red line. Here is Hackala. Over to Lyndon Todd. Todd has the puck on his stick. Plays it over. Finds Fougere. Fougere will enter the zone on the near side. Shot up high. Will go off the glass. Here's Todd. Trying to work it in deep. Met there by two blue jerseys. 4.5 to go here in the third. That's going to make its way around the wall. Here's Kaharski battling with Fougere. And there's a hit up high. No, well, and that's going to be whistled down. Penalty on the play. Interference to call. Kaharski draws the penalty. Fougere will sit in the box for 2 or less. He sure hopes it's the whole 2 minutes. LaRue, Cowan, Ross, Osmond, and Ayotte out there for the power play. One back. Here's Osmond. Over to Ayotte. Ayotte for LaRue. Over to Osmond. Here's Kane. Osmond. Shot block. Rebound. Sir! Scores! Reed LaRue! Power play goal for the V's. His second of the night. Third of the playoffs. 4 minutes to go. That's a big goal for the Voyagers. It's electric here in Bedford. This game is not over yet. Armada can score in bunches. But it is a big hill to climb now. Here's Hall. Off the deflection off the M wall, or the boards, I should say. Jaden Hall worked up ahead. Bungay through center looking for Ivan here and out of his reach. Here's Morrison back to retrieve the puck. Morrison chipped up ahead by Reed LaRue. Will get taken down. Here's Isaac Bungay. Bungay As LaRue gets tangled up looking for the puck. Urin finds it. Here's Urin looking for Brady. It's going to go off a body. Brady gets it back towards the goal. Tip just wide by DeBay. Here's LaRue. He'll rim it around the wall. Looking for Osman on the opposite side. Here's Osman. Turned over. Here's Brady's shot will go off a shin pad of Hall. That'll bounce its way to the boards. Here's DeBay. Looking to go towards the net as Brady blows up Hall on the way towards the goal. That's going to be sent down, and that should be icing, and it will be. With 3:07 remaining. V's trying to complete a change, but referee catches them in the process of doing so. It's a 3-goal lead for the Voyagers Hockey Club. Puck dropped. Here is Ayotte. He'll go up the wall, looking to get past Thompson. Can't do so. Thompson down low. Finds a stick of Hakala. Cleared off the twig of Braden Cowan. Sent down the ice. Osman looking for the puck. Comes free for Hakala. Hakala has Osman on him on the forward check. Inside 3 minutes to go now in the third. Here's O'Leary. Will burst it wide. O'Leary will drag and shoot one at the blocker. Rebound. Covered up by Reed. Max Reed up to 32 saves now in the game. Shots are 34-27 in favor of the Armada. As Matt Donnelly will call a timeout on the Basin side. Their season on the line here. Donnelly trying to drop a play to get them back into this game. Well, no X's and O's on the other side. Just some motivation from head coach Carter McMullen. Trying to motivate his team to stay composed here in the late stages. They're 2 minutes and 42 seconds away from heading to Provincials up in number 2 next week. Uvari, Ayotte, Carew, DeMille, and Saulnier will head out there for this D-zone draw. Timeout now over. Donnelly still drawing up a play. Ujier, O'Leary, Hakala, Maidman, and Makinen. And that is now empty for Basin in desperation mode. It's now or never for the Armada. Puck is dropped. One on the wall, here's O'Leary. Chipped ahead, DeMille, can't get it out. Makinen will bounce off of his stick and out of the zone. Armada offside. Here's Saulnier, will work it up to the middle of the ice. Uvari will send it towards the opposite blue line. Here's Devin DeBay. 2.5 to go in the third. Here's O'Leary. Seth O'Leary will walk in and shoot one. That will go past the blocker side and wide. Here's Makinen on the opposite wall. Makinen down low looking for DeBay. He's going to bounce off of his stick. Comes free in the corner. 2:12 to go in the third. Here is Devin DeBay. DeBay up top over to Hakala. One-timer off the skate and that will go in the corner. Here's Makinen. Cooper Makinen will walk in and shoot one blocked by Ayotte. Here's O'Leary up for Hakala. Back for O'Leary. O'Leary shot on goal. Glove save. Rebound. They score. Oh, bounce its way to the net. And the Armada are not done yet. It's 5-3. Fougere gets the goal. Just under 2 minutes to go. This game is not over. Funny hop gets by Max Reed. Cowan against Hakala at center ice. Puck is dropped. One back. Here's Maidman. Maidman back for P now as Hula McLeod will head to the bench. 6-on-5 again for the Armada, looking to keep their season alive. Here's Olmstead. Up the wall. It's going to come free in the corner. Comes free. Here's Fougere still out there after scoring the goal. Cowan finds it. He'll go off the glass. That will slowly make its way down the ice. And that will be icing with 1:26 to go in the third. Face-off will be the glove side of Max Reed. O'Leary against Cowan for the draw. One back, Hall will work it to the line, catch it by Makinen. Puck is bouncing. Here's Muse, poked up ahead. As Cal looking to spring free towards the empty net, but that will get his way back on the stick of Makinen. Here's Ross. Lachlan Ross has the puck at center ice, looking to get into the empty net. Here's Muse, one-timer off the crossbar. Inches away from the empty net goal. Armada still have life. Muse trying to go bar down in the empty net. DeMille against Hakala with 69 seconds remaining. Keelan McLeod back in the net for the defensive zone draw. Here's Makinen. Plays up ahead, Maidment. That's going to come free for Jaden Hall. Jaden Hall will chip it ahead, play to the high stick. That's going to be touched up and whistled down. 57 seconds to go. Puck dropped to neutral ice. One back for Makinen. Makinen. Odo O'Leary. There's O'Leary. Will put the brakes on in the half wall. O'Leary's shot will go in. O'Leary! And it's a one-goal game. The Armada will not quit. No way. 5-4 here late in the third period. What a game here, folks. What a third period. Armada have clawed their way back to a one-goal game with 47 seconds to go. Puck dropped. Comes free at center ice. Calm will try and work it ahead. Here's Maidment. Maidment up ahead. It's going to be picked up by Ayot. Ayot will work it down the ice, and that will be icing. .36 seconds to go. Offensive zone face-off for the Armada. V's got an explanation on why that was no icing. Count against Hakala for the face-off. What a third period this has been. It's going to come down to the wire here in Bedford. Puck is dropped. Scrum draw. Comes free. Play towards the goal. It's going to make its way behind the net. Ross looking to dig it free. Played in the corner. It's a pass in front picked off by Count. Sent down the ice, and that will go into the net. Brady Count! It's 6-4 for the V's. What a moment for the Voyagers. Braden Count into the empty cage with 23 seconds to go. Still a bit of time for the Armada. The way this third period's gone, you never quite know. Puck is dropped. It's going to bounce its way free for Count. Count will play it in deep. 18 seconds to go. Here's Makinen. Cooper Makinen will lead the rush for the Armada. Gets the line and will send it in deep. Takes a hit from Count. 5 seconds to go. Puck comes free for Carew. 2 and now 1. And the V's have sunken the Bedford battleship. And they're moving on to number 2. What a game. What a series. What a team. 6-4 is your final. That'll be it for the Armada this season. These have punched their ticket to provincials. They have just upset the Basin Armada in a sweep of this best-of-3 series. What a series, folks. What a game. Max Reed played both games for the V's. Won both of them. 32 saves for number 31, Reed. Reed LaRue, 3 big goals in the playoffs. Braden Count, empty net for the insurance marker. A full team effort from the Voyagers. And as an alumni coach, I cannot be more proud of this team. They got an ovation from the crowd. What a game, folks. And as we conclude our coverage here, I'd like to take the time to mention someone who would have loved to be here for this moment, Tony Mitchell, who lost his life a few weeks ago. And you got to think that he has a part of this win for the V's. Tony, with us in spirit. That one was for you, Tony.
7 over the 2.